conductors, and their passengers were known as packages or freight. My question for you is, if I'm talking about who Harriet Tubman was with one of these lines that I just underlined, which one would she be? Tiana, go ahead. Exactly, she would be a conductor. Right on top of conductors, I want you to write HT for Harriet Tubman. Excellent job, Tiana. Let's keep going. Remember, when I snap, you fill in the word. The network of routes extended through 14 northern states. How many states?
14!
Good. And the promised land of Canada beyond the reach of fugitive slave hunters. Raise a hand. Does anybody know what a fugitive is? What is a fugitive? Jada, what's a fugitive?
A future prisoner.
A future prisoner? So if I had to describe that in one word, Jalen, what is it? A future prisoner?
Criminal.
A criminal. Excellent. Let's write criminal above fugitive, please. Excellent job. Let's finish this paragraph. Those who most actively assisted slaves to escape by way of the railroad were members of, follow this please, free black community. Write a 1. Abolitionists, write a 2. Quakers, write a 3. The 3 main people who worked on freeing people from the Underground Railroad were members of the free black community, slaves who had already escaped that wanted to go help other slaves, abolitionists, and Quakers. Repeat. Let's turn our page. Here we go. Document 1. What is the first thing I'm going to do before I even begin reading my document? What am I looking at? Cassie? Alright, so here's my question for you. I got 2003. Do not call it out. Put up a hand instead. Put up a hand instead. Do we know whether this is a primary or secondary source? I should see more hands here. I should see more hands here. I'm in 2003. Is this a primary or secondary source on my snap?
Secondary!
Excellent job. Secondary source. Please put that at the top of your document. Y'all are on point right now. Let's stay with it, okay? First paragraph should be tracking your paper in 3, in 2, in 1. Remember, when I snap, you fill in the word. The Underground Railroad, a vast network of people who helped fugitive slaves escape to the
North!
Good. And to Canada, was not run by any single organization or person. Rather, it consisted of many individuals, many whites, but predominantly black, who effectively moved hundreds of slaves north each year. According to one estimate, the South lost 100,000 slaves between 1810 and 1850. Underline that piece right there. If I am looking at 1810 to 1850, what context question am I answering for myself? Dad. Say it, say it, say it. Good. Please write that next to it. I have my first context clue. We are already on paragraph number 2. Keep tracking that paper, please. An organized system to assist runaway slaves seems to have begun towards the end of the 18th century. Let's pause right here for 1 second. 18th century. Does anybody know what group of 100 years was the 18th century? Elijah.
1800 through 1899.
Close, but no.
No, it's 1700 through 1799.
Excellent. Good fix. The 18th century is the 1700s. Mr. Cole, I'm going to look to you to explain this because I don't know how to explain it. But the 18th century, anytime you see the 18th century, you're going to go back 100 years, and that is the group of 100 years they're going to talk about. So my question for you is, if I'm looking at the 16th century, what group of 100 years am I talking about? The 16th century. Lenai, help him. The 1500s. So Jalen, if I'm talking about the 14th century, what group of 100 years am I talking about?
The 13th.
And Makai, if I'm talking about the 12th century, what group of 100 years am I talking about? 1100. So I don't know how to explain this to you, but make sure you go back 100 years. Mr. Cole.
Yeah, the first century started with year 1.
I know, but how do you explain that so they will understand?
So it's the 17th series of 100 years.
Well, you want to go ahead and put that into terms?
Non-scientific.
I love that this is on camera.
Good stuff, right?
We're gonna wait.
All right, we're going to go back, okay? All right, here we go. Keep tracking that paper, please. In 1786, George Washington complained about how one of his runaway slaves was helped by a society of
Quaker.
Excellent job. Formed for such purposes. The system grew, and around 1831, it was nicknamed the Underground Railroad. What year did it get its nickname?
1831.
Excellent. Make sure you have it underlined. The system even used terms used in railroading. The homes and businesses where fugitives would rest and eat were called stations, and depots were run by station masters. Those who contributed money or goods were called stockholders, and the conductor was responsible for moving fugitives from one station to the next. Tiana, who did we say that the conductor was again? Harriet Tubman, okay? Let's make sure we have HC under our conductor, please. Excellent job so far. We are moving quick. Paragraph 3. For the slave, running away to the north was anything but
Easy.
good. The first step was to escape from the slaveholder. For many slaves, this meant relying on his or her own resources. Sometimes a conductor, posing as a slave, would enter a plantation and then guide the runaways north. The fugitives would move at night. They would generally travel between 10 and 20 miles to the next station, where they would rest and eat, hiding in barns and other out-of-the-way places. While they waited, a message would be sent to the next station to alert its station master. Now, I'm sure my board is not going to allow me to do this. I want you to underline that entire second piece of the paragraph, starting with the fugitive, please. And my question for you is, if I were to summarize that last piece of the paragraph in about 4 or 5 words, like a strong annotator would, what am I going to put at the bottom of my paragraph? Show me a hand, please. It says the fugitives move at night. They travel between 10 and 20 miles to the next station, rest and eat. They hide in safe places, and a message is sent to the next station. Katrina, take a shot at it. Well, for sure they're keeping them safe, but if I'm going to summarize this whole little piece, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? Jalen, go ahead.
The paragraph is about how it was when they were moving.
Exactly. It's exactly right. It's how the Underground Railroad worked. So I want you to write underneath that paragraph how the UR, which obviously stands for Underground Railroad, worked. So now when somebody asks you about the question about what was the